Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here, and welcome to another YouTube channel, a little how-to and this and that and other special media over at Geekazine.com, youtube.com/Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek, and you've got Geekazine. Of course, you can also find me on Twitter over at Geekazine, and of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. Today, we're going to take a look at some software that I use on a very regular basis. This is software that I use to create my iPad 365 show. This is software I will use to create special media videos, such as this one, and a whole bunch more. And it's a really simple program. It's for Windows, and they've just updated it to their 13th version. It's called Sony Movie Maker 13. Now, it used to be called Sony Acid Platinum 910, but the version 12, they switched up to Movie Maker Platinum 12 and Movie Maker Platinum 13. And this is an editing software for the Windows-based computers that will let you create a lot of different things, such as create scenes, splice scenes, resize scenes, put in lower thirds, use green screen technology, put in overlays, like, for instance, well, this is a lower third that I'm using on my Wirecast software, but I could also put in a whole bunch of different bells and whistles if I wanted to. Lots of editing. This is for post-editing. So you basically record the video, and then you turn around and you do the post-editing through this software, Movie Studio 13. Of course, Sony Creative also has Music Studio 13. I'm trying not to say or actually it's Music Studio 10, excuse me. But I'm trying not to say Music Studio over Movie Studio. So if I do say Music Studio, I apologize. It's not meant, not unintentional. And so let's take a look really quick of Movie Studio 13, because there's actually 3 versions, and then you have 3 versions of their primary, their larger software called Acid software. So we're going to start over here. We got Movie Studio 13. You have the standard version, you have the Studio 13 Platinum, and then, of course, you have the Movie Studio 13 Suite. The regular Movie Studio, $50, and there's I think it's like $25 an upgrade, where you can just create videos. You can go up to 10, I believe 1080p on this. This is for YouTube. This is for Facebook. You don't need all those little bells and whistles or anything like that. And, for $50, it's a great starter into doing some great video editing. I use Movie Studio 13 Platinum. That starts at about $80 with an upgrade at about $50, which means that I had Movie Studio 12. I upgraded to 13 for $50. I can do different modes, simple and advanced, and I'm going to show you what this is. This is for touch screens. So I'll show that in a second. You can create movies up to 4K, which is, of course, the big thing nowadays is to create 4K video. You can also create 3D video if you're using 3D videos. Access hundreds of videos and audio effects, and personalize your movies with lots of text animations. Lots of cool stuff in here. And then, of course, you have Movie Studio 13 Suite, which has a lot more. You can create video in 4K, Ultra HD, XAVCS, or AVCHD, which are different formats. You can develop original music. You can create things for DVD or Blu-ray disc just to put straight on. So, of course, with the suite, I don't really need that. It's $139.95. It's a little bit of extra stuff, and I don't need it. And, of course, like I said, you get into Vegas Pro, Vegas Pro 12, Vegas Pro Edit, and Vegas Pro Suite. This Pro Suite is $799, but it has everything that you need to create things like movies. Now, I don't create movies. I create YouTube bits and pieces, and I use different software to do it. Like I said, with Movie Studio 13, that's the one I most use for anything. It's a Windows-based machine program, and of course, you need about an i5 or better to run. Some people have run it on an i3, and it does okay. Of course, the newer processors, you shouldn't have any problem running on them. Multi-core processors, it's all about the graphics card too. I have a 2 GB graphics card in my editing machine, my desktop, it's actually, the machine's about 4.5 years old. It's still running quad-core AMD core, and it does a great job in doing that. So let's stop talking about this. Let's talk about the program. I'm going to show you the program here and how it's a lot different than before. Now, like I said, this is the platinum version, which means that you get a little bit of extra bells and whistles. Like, for instance, up on this top bar, for those of you who've actually used Movie 12, you've probably noticed that some of these buttons are a little bit bigger. And the first two buttons that you see are simple and advanced mode. And if we hit it to simple, it's going to switch everything around. I'm going to go back to here. It's going to switch everything around and put it in simplistic mode. Now, the reason why they have simple mode is for those of you who have decided to get rid of your keyboard, get rid of your mouse, and go into touchscreen video editing. The simple mode there's no moving around. I can't take this screen and move it over this way, or I can't move this up or down. It's all locked in. And of course, if I want to do things like do a trimming or something like that, I'd have to go up in here and actually pull those windows down to do what I need to do to bring the video in. It's very simplistic, but once again, it's for those of you who have decided to get rid of the keyboard and the mouse and do touchscreen, or maybe you've got a tablet. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think this is going to work on RT tablets, but it will definitely work on those Surface tablets that have an i5 processor or in there or better. So if you need to do some video and let's say you're out, you're not at home, you're away thousands of miles away. I do a lot of videos thousands of miles away from home. You can actually use this software on your tablet to get the video out as quick as possible. But I'm a big fan of advanced mode because I understand it, I know it. It is a lot easier for me, so I've set it up that way. Advanced mode. Let's go in here really quick. Let's show you some of the features. Of course, you have your regular project. I'm going to slide this over a little bit. You have your regular project media, your Explorer area where you can pull stuff from your hard drive, your transitions area if you want to put in fades or blinds or anything like that, your video FX area if you want to put a little bit of color, a little bit of grain into your videos, and then, of course, media generators. If you need something like lines or maybe a test pattern or something like that in the background. Now, what I have over here, that I scrolled over, let's just bring this back. This is the trimmer area. Now, this is one of the big changes from Movie Studio 12. Before, the trimmer area could actually be put into this area right here, and I really wish that it would be, but they have separated it. So basically what you have to do is you have to go up here into options and actually check the trimmer, and it comes out as a separate box, and then you have to hold down, I believe it's the shift key, and then that will place it into the box area. And once again, it's not in the area that I'm most used to, and that would be this area, but it's in my plan. It's not a separate box. I'm really happy with that. Then, of course, we have the preview area right here with the bigger buttons. And if you notice, that's the one big thing about Movie Studio 13 is the buttons have gotten a lot bigger. In fact, they're a little bit too big for my tastes here, but you get used to it as you go. You can actually customize your buttons right here and put in more if you need to. And then, of course, this part right here, this is your area where you can check out all your audio tracks. Of course, you have the preview, you have the other audio tracks, and the master track with effects. And you can pull stuff from there. Let's take a look at the timeline really quick. With your timeline, it's just as before. You have your video up on top. You have your audio down below. Of course, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different video tracks on iPad 365, and then 2. I did have 3 at one time, but I guess I have 2 now. Audio tracks. 1 I basically turned off and put files and audio files I wasn't using, but I guess I wanted to clean up my area here. So basically, that's the full timeline, and just as normal, you basically place videos into the timeline. The biggest difference, as you can see, once again, these buttons are a lot bigger than before. But another big difference is when you're going to trim. We'll zoom in on a trim here. If you hit here, you'll see a little blue notch here. This is the trim area. Now you can actually This is for the touchscreen, so you can actually put down a finger and actually be able to trim. Otherwise, it would have been tougher just to get onto the line, I guess, and go from there. So you have that trim area. You can basically you do the splits just like you do. You can either right click and say split. I'm not seeing it because the screen's a little bit farther away than I want it to be. Or of course you use the S hotkey, and that'll split your video into two. And of course, I'm talking about on my iPad video. I'm talking about an application for cooking. So as you can see, I have my main video right here, and then I have the application which I've resized through the event pan, which just showed up. Let me pull it over here. Which showed up right here. This is pretty much the same. You can basically change the since I've already done this, I'll just reset it. You can basically restore everything, or you can set it up for aspect ratio output. You can do all the turns, and you can do all the resizes from there. And then, of course, I had to get rid of those sidebars. So what I did was I created cookie cutters. This is a little trick I learned. You create a cookie cutter in a rectangle, and you take out half of it. And then I had to create the other cookie cutter on the other side. So otherwise, one of the black bars would have been like lopsided. This would have been half of this, and this would have been the same. So I had to create two cookie cutters, one that goes like that and one that goes like that. Little squares right there. So anyway, so basically, let me bring this down so you can see what I'm talking about here. So basically, you got this same effects area and resize area, just the same as the old version of Movie Studio 12. The biggest, like I said, the biggest problem is with resizing is that little blue tab, because now you got to watch where you're actually putting the thing if you're moving as opposed to cropping, because I've done that several times where I've hit that blue tab and I started cropping the video as opposed to moving it. One other thing that the Movie Studio 13 does not have that 12 does have is the select tool. Now down here in the corner you have your normal tool, you have your envelope tool, and then of course you have the fade tool. As you notice, you can only resize from the edge. You cannot do a fade. To do the fade, you have to press the fade button, and of course the tab turns into this half arrow arc, and now I can take and I can fade it in, I can fade it out. And then when I want it back, I switch it back to normal, and of course the tabs are right there. There is no major select tool. The little arrow that would let you select more than one thing. And in fact, if you try it off of area, you'll see that all you're getting is that blue select, overall select option, which doesn't do anything. What you do have to do is you have to shift. And if you've got a keyboard, you have to shift and select. I'm not sure what they do for touchscreens. I'm guessing when you hold down the touchscreen button, you might be able to do that. Hold down the screen, your finger on the screen, it'll probably let you do multiple selections. But for me to do a selection, I'd have to start here, and then I'd go over here, and I'd hold down the Shift key, and I'd press this, and then all of these would be selected. If you wanted to do selections from up here, you can try the control thing. It's a little bit wonky in doing that. So that's the major problem with 13 is the fact that it just misses out on that major button right there. So a lot of different functionality with this. The bigger buttons they get in the way a little bit, but you get used to it as you go. Another thing is when you go to render the project, that shows a little bit different. Let me switch over here to this area. You go up to project. It's not render anymore. It's basically make movie. And you can go into the make movie section, and that will say, hey, do you want to upload it to YouTube? You want to upload it to Facebook, make a DVD, save it to my camera, or save it to my hard drive, which I'll choose. And then, as you can see, the screen is a lot different than what 12 was. To get to what you did in Movie Studio 12, you hit the advanced options. And that will bring... I have to pull it over to a different screen here. Hold on. That will bring up this thing where, of course, I've created some presets for Geekazine for the video, so it doesn't it's not large files because I'm just creating YouTube videos. But you have many different options, from MP3 options to MP4 options, Real Media, QuickTime, and so on and so forth, up to, of course, the 4K video, which I haven't really touched yet because I'm not getting into 4K video myself. Once again, I'm doing YouTube videos, and when 4K becomes more mainstream for some of the for videos to go up there, then I'll do that. I might just create one or two just to see how that works. But otherwise, I can create 4K videos and go from there. All right, other than that, everything's pretty much the same. As you can see, I have the effects, and this is the cool thing about this is I can use different types of effects. I can pull in VST files. My favorite, when I do audio, for example, my two favorite, and of course it pulls it over here, my two favorite VST files are the track noise gate. I'm sorry, the classic compressor and the master limiter. Both of these VSTs they don't make them. The person that made them doesn't make them anymore, but they do great, and I love them, and I put them in all my audio files to compress and limit. Compress and limit my audio there. And the best part about it is, as opposed to some other editors, where you have to do it per each audio or video scene, I can actually do an overall here, and I can also do an overall up here, which is off screen, but you can see I have a different EQ, compressor, and limiter for an overall sound, and that makes it so I have a little bit more tighter sound in my videos, and go from there. Of course, many different effects. Sony has a whole bunch of stuff that you can buy. I bought some software that actually ducks the audio below the voice every time I talk. Got some other 3D effect stuff that I can use. But once again, I'm a podcaster. I'm not making a movie. I'm not making short films. I'm making videos, how-to videos, and iPad 365, fun little videos for you to enjoy. And so this software, Movie Studio 13, is just, it's easy to use. It works well, and it does a lot of things that the other big boys don't really do. Like, for instance, the biggest problem I have with one of the big boys is when you hit play. If I hit play on this video, and I say I need to move something over, or I need to clip something, the other ones, and they're getting better at doing it now, but they still don't do all the functions. You go to do something, it'll actually stop. I could actually even go to another program. Let's say I'm working on Photoshop in tandem with Movie Studio 13, creating graphics for a specific scene. If I go over to that other program to do some drawing or something like that, it doesn't stop the video. The video keeps going, so I can still listen to it and go from there. Of course, one more editing tip I'm going to show you really quick. When I edit video, I know what I sound like. So what I do, I'm going to show you this right here. I go down to this corner right here, and this is the track speed. Now I can adjust the advance and rewind speeds through here, or I can use this little orange arrow, and I can say, okay, I want to go the ratio of 1.52. So when I hit play, I start sounding like a mouse. Now, you can't hear it because I turned down the audio for this, but it will definitely speed through the video because I've pretty much heard what I had to say about it, and I just have to make the edits and figure out where the problems are and then adjust that and go from there. So with that, what I can do is I can go about 1.52 and hear myself, and then when I hear that I made a mistake, I can actually edit it out and put it in, go from there, make my editing a lot easier. So a lot of different other features with 13. Once again, I don't normally, for movie making, it's not what I do. I create videos such as iPad 365, podcaster type videos. So my use is going to be a lot different than somebody that's actually making a TV show, than somebody that's making a movie or music video. There's a lot of other great functionality. And being a musician, I've actually used the music tracks on Movie Studio that really can help out put in music. Now, if you want to put in music, you basically get the movie studio suite, and it's like the audio editor and the video editor all in one. And then, of course, if you really want to get into production, you get into the Acid software, and that'll boost your making skills immensely. But these are great, affordable programs that you can use to create quick videos, to create your YouTube videos or whatever you want to do online. And starting at $50, you can't go wrong from there. Especially you're getting a new computer that has a touch screen or a tablet that can run this software. You can go and just grab it from there. Once again, this is called Movie Studio 13, and it's out there right now. You can go get it and go from there. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching this how-to on Movie Studio 13. I'll have some more on Movie Studio 13. Of course, if you have any questions on how to create a podcast, you can always contact me, geekazine@gmail.com. I am part of the podcaster coaches over at helpouts@google.com. So helpouts.google.com. You can search podcast and you'll see me there. You can schedule some time and say, how do I do this for podcasting? How do I do that for podcasting or video podcasting, and go from there. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching over at Geekazine.com or howtorecordpodcasts.com. Until next time, we'll have another video, and we'll go from there. You guys geek out and take care.